Hello, Free Soul Radio family. Welcome to 2023. Aren't you happy you made it over the finish line? We all had a long year last year, but here we are. I'm Queen D, and this is Queen Talk. So I am excited to be a part of Free Soul Radio. I'm excited for this platform because this is my show, Queen Talk. What makes it different from my Queen Courts conversation is a few things. Queen Court conversation is my baby that I came up with this idea that it would be wonderful to have women, queens, talk about things that inspire them, things that motivate them, things that encourage them. And I would travel to different cities and states, and I look forward to continuing that journey. It is so exciting when you can meet a community of people, like-minded people like yourself, who enjoy meeting other people and communicating and inspiring and mentoring and it's just so many things, motivating, and also talk about the trials and tribulations of life and how you got out of it so you can help somebody else. You know, you don't realize it, or perhaps you do, that when you talk, words have power. And they can resonate in someone out there in the universe who hears you, and it can touch their lives. You could be saving a life. You could be encouraging someone to go back to school. You could be encouraging someone to think about what type of career they want. There's so many reasons why words have power. And Queen Talk is about queens, lifing. But it's also about us also talking about the kings and how we relate to them. And once in a while, I may even have a king join me just to get his perspective. After all, we're not on this planet by ourselves, are we? Anyway, so I want to talk about words, the power of words. We're going to need that because let me tell you something. Words can lift you up, or words can destroy you. I'm sure we all have a memory of something someone said, or even from childhood, that said something that we did not like, or stuck with us. Think about it. Even if your parent said something, a loved one said something to you, that still sits with you today. That's how powerful words can be. But we should use our words cautiously and make sure that when we speak, it has value. Stay away from negative energy. We'll talk about that. And stick with positive energy and like-minded people. People as yourself. People who want better for their lives. People who care about things, the environment, but not what someone is always wearing, or someone's hair, or what someone else is doing on Instagram, what kind of breakfast they had. No. Like I said, no judgment. But also, think about that. Wouldn't you rather talk to someone who's talking to you about life, how it's helping them get better, get through something, how to make money, finances, education, healthcare, history, things that really you feel in your spirit, spirituality, things that give you comfort, things that give you love. Those are words of value. When you have affirmations, think about it. When you say, I am, that's a powerful thing because God says, I am. Whatever you say, I am, you can feel it in your soul. I am smart. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am fearless. I am fabulous. I am wonderfully made. When you say those things, whether you believe it or not, it actually touches the spirit. You say it enough, you'll start believing it, and you can tear down those walls of rejection. Because we all have feelings of rejection. It's just that we have to learn from that. You see, every negative thing that has happened to you can be a learning tool that you can use to your advantage. For example, I tell you, when you decide to become an entrepreneur, that is work. Never be envious or jealous of someone who's building their empire, making money. Whether you're hustling in the boardroom or hustling on the street, it doesn't matter, it's still a hustle. You are boss of your life. And you have to decide, only you can decide how you want to do that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about self-care. Well, how does self-care, Queen, have anything to do with what you're talking about? It has everything to do with what I'm talking about. Because let me tell you something. Self-care means that you are aware of how important it is not to overlook the importance of taking care of your mind, your body, and your spirit. That is so important. Yes, when we say self-care, we think of maybe queens or divas, or even now men who have become very conscientious of how they look these days. Nothing wrong with that. But it doesn't mean just a massage and getting your nails and hair done. Although those are great things to have. But it also means thinking about your future. Your future. Your self-worth. How you value yourself. That's real important. Acknowledgement of who you are. Acknowledgement of your purpose. You see, our job is to identify what we need in our life. That's right. What is it going to take? What is it going to take to make you comfortable? What does your future look like to you? Yes. This life that we have is all about purpose. It's all about how we want to do life. And we need to focus. You see, life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. You want longevity. You need energy. You need resiliency to have longevity. But you also have to have clarity and focus on fulfilling your purpose. So that's why self-care, you have to be aware. You have to realize what's important in your life. It's a responsibility. Self-care is a responsibility because you have to have health and wellness. I always say, no wealth without health. So if you think you can go through life with wealth and no health, you can forget it. The richest man on this planet will trade you anything for his health because he's going to make sure that he has the best doctors, the best medication, the best everything. He wants to live a long, fruitful life, but he knows he's got to take care of his life so his mind can be alert, so his body can be strong. So he believes that if he does what he needs to do with his self-care, that he will be able to enjoy a good life with health and wellness together. It's terribly important. So we have to think about that. We have to think about what our brain needs. It needs food. It needs nutrition. What does our body need too? It needs fuel, like a car. A car needs gas. A car needs care. I always say the human body is like a car. If we don't have no gas and no fuel and you don't put no water in everything that car needs, you don't get it repaired, it ain't going nowhere. You're going to get stuck somewhere. So it's so important for you to take care of your body. Try to have a good diet. And if you notice I say a weight loss diet, I mean a nutritional diet. Also, it's important to have sleep and to stay hydrated, because without sleep, it's really hard to do the things you want to do. And you can't just live off of energy drinks and stuff like that. Although, no judgment zone here, I do it too. I have tried. Like, oh, I didn't get no sleep because I do content and I have a family and different things. So sometimes I go, well, let me just get some caffeine. That'll help me keep going. But sooner or later, I feel it catching up. And I got to drink a lot of water. And I got to lay back and, take it back, rear it back some, and like pull that rain back in, get some fruit and vegetables, make a smoothie or something. I can't do it forever. It's going to catch up to me. So I've learned that from trial and error. You have to respect your body. If you don't respect it, you don't get no respect back from it. That's for sure. Life is a physical manifestation of what's going on in your head. I like saying that because it's the truth. So whatever you think, you can become. Whatever you feel, it will manifest in you. For example, if you say something like, oh God, this is going to be a horrible day. Woo! Look at that traffic. I bet you when I get to work, and that boss is going to get on my nerve. Or I bet you these kids going to get on my nerve. Whatever. I used to work in a classroom. And if you don't go in the right attitude, you're going to have a rough day, because you got to come and be on with those children. You got to be on. If you come in acting all sour with me, they're going to act like they sour with me too. Especially today's kids. If I say it's going to be a bad day, guaranteed something bad's going to happen. That's just life. You can actually curse your own self. And you can curse your children too. Start saying they stupid and see what happens. Start saying they badass, see what happens. See if they don't start believing and start acting up. You can literally curse your life. That's the power of words. That's why I said before, words have power. Now I want to move on and talk to the queens a little bit. Queens, this is a wonderful time to be a woman, ain't it? Woo! This is a wonderful time to be feminine and beautiful. We got all of the luxuries at our fingertips. We got the best skincare products out now. We got the best makeup artists out right now. We got some of the baddest hairstylists in the world right now, and fashion designers. It is fun to be a woman today. It is. You can be feminine. You can be anything you want to be. Even if you're not a girly girl. Even if you're more of a tomboy. Still, you got choices. More choices than ever before. But with those choices come responsibilities and consequences. So we have to be careful about that, because, and I wrote some things down here, we have to look at those red flags. Red flags. If you listen to people, again, those words have power, like I said before. They might say things that make you feel bad about who you are. You could be on top of the world. Somebody say something just to rattle you, just to make you upset on purpose. Or they might manipulate you with words too. Jealousy, envy, is poison, frenemies. You see, all that comes into play. And I was talking about when you meet the wrong man. And he says something that really gets under your skin. He says something like, this picture makes you look fat. Something as simple as that. Now, you might have expressed to this person that You know, as a kid, you were picked on for being overweight, or your mother was always watching your diet plate. It might be anything. But the fact that he said it, and he is supposed to be your biggest fan, if it's a friend or a loved one, that didn't do anything for you, but upset you. And maybe that picture you do look kind of fat in there, but they shouldn't say things just to aggravate you. They should be careful, because the tongue is like a two-edged sword. It cuts deep to the spirit, to your heart. And the enemy always wants to attack the heart with words and how you feel. And he will get into anybody he can to do it. So those are red flags to look out for. Another thing you have to think about. You have to think about someone saying, "Oh, why is a beautiful woman like you not married?" I get that. I mean, like, really? Does anybody say anything like that to you? To a man? No. Again, society tries its best to continually tell women how they should feel, how they should look, what age is appropriate. Yet still, men do what they want to do. They could be the fattest thing, the ugliest thing, whatever. And guess what? They feel they still can get the most beautiful one if they got some money, or they think they're charismatic enough. But see, women are different, because we feel things deeper. You know, not only are we nurturers, it's in our DNA to be sensitive. It's in our DNA to be caring and kind. I'm not saying every woman is, but I'm saying it just hits us differently because our makeup genetically and just being a woman is different. So things like that can affect you. And please don't pay attention to social media. Please don't. Because you see, this world is trying to convince you that you don't have that much value. So you have to stop listening. You don't need to listen to other people to tell you what your value is and what your self-worth is. Even if you have come from an abusive family or verbally abusive family, or been around people who has lowered your self-esteem, that's where self-care comes in. Work on you. Don't work on someone that don't have no degree, but don't have anything of value. Work on you. That's what I say. And use your instincts. Don't ignore your instincts. That's what they're there for. I always use the analogy of walking down an alley and you hear a sound. And you say, "Oh, that ain't nothing. It's just a cat." That's not using your instinct. You hear a sound, you know what to do. You turn around. You run. Do what you got to do. But keep yourself safe, but you don't just ignore your instincts. That's what your instincts are there for in the first place, to protect you, to help you. So use them. You know, people will do anything they can to get you off. I always say you killed her, to make you feel depressed. But queens, we have to take good care of ourselves. We have to look out for ourselves, because self-acceptance is power. It's your power. Take your power back, I say. Take your power back. You know, there's no expiration date on you, queen, until you close your eyes. So all those women out there who think 30 is old, just ask Janet Jackson, okay? Ask Beyonce, okay? Ask Mary J, okay? You have some really good examples out there of queens who are powerful, doing their thing, on their grind, on their hustle. So why would you listen to somebody to tell you what age you have to be to do anything. That's your decision. Don't listen to someone who says, oh, you're beautiful, why aren't you married? You ain't ready to get married, you ain't ready to get married. That's up to you. That's your business. You don't need someone to tell you that. And who is he anyway, or she? What gave them so much power? Nobody. Okay? My rule is if you ain't Jesus, you can't tell me nothing. Okay? That's my rule. And what I mean is, with that statement is that don't put your power and your value, your self-worth, in the hands of someone else. If you need, I always say this, spiritual guidance, professional help, like a counselor, or you have someone that you really love and trust, and they've always been so good to you and you can trust them, that's different. But anybody else? No. That's what God is for. Go to your closet and pray. That's what God is for. So if you decide that you want to have a family, that's for you and your physician to talk about at the age that you are ready, not someone else. Keep your faith. Keep your faith. That's so important. And queens, do not, this is just a suggestion, listen to someone to convince you that they'll marry you if you sleep with them. It's, believe it or not, some people think that they can still get a man with sex. If a man don't want you, he don't want you. That's what I say. It ain't enough intimacy gonna do it. See, men are wired differently. So they might think that they just have a good time and still go off and marry somebody else that they like better, more love. So stop thinking that you're the baddest chick in the world and that you can keep somebody with sex, because you might be the baddest chick to yourself, but that man may not think or want you that way. You want to know how you get a king? By being the queen that he's looking for. By watching, observing, listening. That's how you get people to be interested in you. You have to really, genuinely care. And you have to make sure they really, genuinely care. Dating is for data. Gathering your data. That's what it's for. So if you think that, well, I know if I'm with him enough, it's going to change, but no, it's not. It hasn't changed no man's mind yet. Now, don't use tricks and sex and manipulation, because you're just lowering your standards. You deserve better. You deserve the best. You deserve someone who will love you for you. That you don't have to do anything like that. So I just had to say that to the queens out there. I had to say that. That's so important that we remember that. And think about how to be the best version of who you are. How do you do that? Well, first you take an assessment of who you are and what you want. That's how you do that. Because you have to get your own life first. Don't depend on someone else to do it for you. When you get your own life, people admire that. They admire your spirit and your strength and your courage and your resilience. And guess what? You are proud of who you are. When you're focused on yourself, you can do anything. because when you're doing that, it actually brings in positive energy. And that's what you want to do. Positive energy. So that's why I always say, be the best version of who you are. Because when you do that, you can do anything. Now let's talk about personal best and patience. Very important. You have to have patience, especially now. It's only been 2 years, going into the 3rd year of this pandemic. And there's still residue left. So we have to date differently. We have to do life differently. There is no normal except the new normal, and we all have to adjust on how we're going to do that. Everybody's way is going to be different, and we have to explore. And the only way we can do that is with patience. It is a virtue. Haste does make waste. So strategize, customize your life. What's on your menu? You have to think about those things, and when you do that, you're able to see clarity, to have clarity, to see where you're going from there. Because we all have different interests. We all have different wants and needs. We all have things we love and things we don't love. We all have different tastes, different cultures, different religions, different upbringings, different desires. So we have to have patience and look into different things. Whether you're going back to school, whether you are taking a trade, training in something, you have to be able, there's a saying, let me think about this for a minute, it just came to me. Man will be known by his fruits. And basically what that means is you have to educate yourself in what it is that you want. You have to have knowledge, because knowledge is power. You can't, even a person who sings or go into art, acting, cooking, anything, you have to have knowledge in it. Yeah. Trial and error, of course, that's going to happen. But you still got to get some knowledge in it. The more knowledge you have, the more confidence you have, and the less anxious you'll be. Anxiety comes from fear of the unknown. The unknown triggers anxiety. You keep hoping that if you think hard enough and long enough, your anxiety is going to go away. No, it's not. You just added more stress and burden to your life. The only thing that gets rid of anxiety is doing, tackling it on, taking a chance, looking into it. So, educating yourself in it. You can't be a good singer if you don't go out there and keep practicing and try. You can't be a good artist if you don't go out there and start drawing and trying, and so on and so on. Whatever we do, we have to get knowledge and practice, because consistency is the mother of success. That's the only way you're going to get it. There are no shortcuts. And there's no shortcut to wisdom. Wisdom is earned. You can be the smartest person all you want, but if you have not been down that road to wisdom and actually experience life and different things, you don't have no wisdom. You might be smart, but wisdom is earned. That's why when you see older people and they say, I've earned these gray hairs on my head, I mean, they've been through something. They can tell you some stories, because it takes a lot of work. Life is work. So I just had to say that. And there's 4 things that we need to talk about. It says here, let me see what I wrote down. A queen will always make sure that she has non-negotiables. I used to say that to my children. It's not negotiable, which means I have my rules in my house, which means it doesn't matter what you say. I have the rules, it's not negotiable. Arguing with me is not negotiable. I've already said what I said, I'm not changing my statement. Now, I put those in place for certain things. Of course, there's always something that you can break through, bend it a little bit if it's something serious. But basic things in place because, as you know, young people feel more comfortable when they have a roadmap to follow and they know what they're going to do. They don't like being flighty or wishy-washy. It makes them uncomfortable. It gives them anxiety. But if you have a solid plan in place, they will follow that. And it works better with us too. So queens have non-negotiables. One, they're not going to waste their time with men who don't have their stuff together. This is not about, this is my list. This is about just not having negative energy in their space. So, another thing, you have to be capable and intentional to be around a queen. You have to have standards. So, for those queens out there who've lowered their standards because they thought that would get this man they fell in love with, ain't that much love in the world. Nope. Ain't that much love in the world. Never lower your standards. Because the minute you do that, they lose respect for you. You have to respect yourself first to get respect. There's no other way around that one. And we'll be right back.